Good day, awesome YouTubers. It is LollyMan16 here for another Dragon Ball Super review. This one is episode 55, Son Goku ni Aita no ne. Zenosama kara yobidashi. And that is translated into, I want to meet Son Goku, a call from Zenosama. And Dragon Ball Super is finally back after, let me turn this down here. Okay. Dragon Ball Super is finally back after a week break because of the Olympics, and we started off with Lord Beerus-sama. Beerus-sama, he's at his home world, he's at his home planet or whatever he is. Anyway, so last episode, we left off with Zeno talking to Lord Beerus, and he's like, I want to meet Son Goku, and so Goku goes to Beerus' home planet. He uses an instant transmission there, and he's telling Beerus like, well, this is really bad. This is, the timing of this is really bad because obviously Bulma is just about done, and we actually see a scene in the episode where it shows Bulma fixing the time machine, and it's done. It is finally done. As we see in the last portion of the episode, that it actually is completed and ready to take off. But anyway, back to this scene. Beerus obviously tells Goku that you shouldn't make the Zenosama, the Omni King, mad because he could destroy basically everything if he's really angry, and including himself. So he's telling Goku, he's scolding Goku to act on his best behavior. While trying to visit the Zenosama. He tells him not to be childish, not to act childish, and try to act mature. It's almost like, remember when that scene in Battle of Gods where Goku is meeting Lord Beerus for the first time, and he's kind of acting immature, and King Kai actually tells him to act more mature. That's kind of what it is here. I found this to be very reminiscent about that scene. It works in very similar fashions because although it's completely different, King Kai could be destroyed by Beerus, and then in this scene, Beerus could be destroyed by Zenosama. I found that very interesting how it's related. So anyway, and this is a very interesting scene. I have Herms' translations here, and again, big shout out to Herms. And just like in the recent manga chapter 15, Whis explains that the Kaioshin and the Hakaishin are a kind of like a duo thing, like a symbiotic thing. It's almost like, remember when Piccolo, if Kami dies, then Piccolo dies, and then if Piccolo dies, then Kami dies. Well, it's the same thing. If Beerus is, if the Kaioshin of that realm is destroyed, then the Hakaishin is also destroyed. So the god of destruction dies if the Kaioshin also dies. It showed up in the manga chapter. I didn't think they would actually reveal it in this anime episode, but they actually did. So that's an interesting thing to note here, guys. We cut to a scene with Gowasu and Zamasu back on planet Barbari. Remember when last episode they traveled 1,000 years into the future to see what happened to those creatures on that planet, and looks like they're still fighting, and it gets even more brutal now. They start hitting themselves with clubs, and it's really brutal. They're bleeding all over the place and stuff. And at one point, one of the aliens tries to attack Gowasu and Zamasu, but Zamasu easily blocks his club swings and stuff. And it's almost reminiscing about when Trunks cut Frieza in half. Remember the Cell arc, in the Android arc, same thing kind of happens here. Zamasu, he uses this like energy blade thing out of his hand, just like he did in, I believe it's episode 53, if I'm correct, when he fights Goku. And he's using his energy blade, almost trying to cut Goku in half, but Gowasu tells him to stop. But here in this episode, he actually does use it. He uses that it's almost like the lightsaber thing, and he cuts one of the aliens right in half. I mean, literally, he just splits him in half. I was very surprised that Toei would show this kind of violence. but they actually did. He completely split him in half, and it shows him the evil nature as when they go back to Gowasu's planet. I don't know what it's called, but there was a scene where Zamasu, he has this kind of evil talking, kind of his talking is very reminiscent about evil, and Gowasu recognizes this because the coffee completely changes, and at one point the coffee even disappears completely. It almost like vaporizes. That's very strange. Anyway, Gowasu is angry at Zamasu. There was no reason to kill that alien. There really wasn't, but Zamasu did it anyway, and he's still trying to think. He's still thinking that Ningen or mortals are, less kind of guys. Anyway, so back to Goku. It's Goku, Whis, and the Kai of Universe 7. They all go to Zenosama's home world or home palace. I'm not sure. Anyway, when they're there, he meets this new guy, Dakaishin, I guess. He is one of the top fighters, it says on Herm's translation. And wow, this is so. They're introducing characters that are so dang powerful. Like this guy, this other Kai-looking guy. I remember in my predictions video, I said that he would be another Kaioshin, maybe like the Supreme Kai of all the universes or something. Well, Terms doesn't even know himself what his name is, but anyway, this guy is so powerful that Whis is not even a match for him. Like he's in the top 5. He's top 5 tier of the strongest fighters in all the multiverse, essentially. I mean, holy crap! And I thought Whis was really strong. This guy's even stronger than him, and of course, Omni King is even stronger than the Dark Haishin, obviously. So Goku, Whis, and the Kai of Universe 7, Supreme Kai, I should say, they all go to Zenosama's palace, and basically there, Zenosama says he wants a friend, and he actually wants Goku to play with him. This is it. I find Toriyama's comedy here very interesting and very funny. Zenosama is supposed to be this all-powerful god, basically. I mean, he's like the top of the top. I mean, but then it's funny because Zenosama is actually acting like a really child, obviously because of his voice, but he's actually wanting Goku to play with him. And so everyone freaks out, of course. Zenosama gives Goku like this button thing that, if he presses it, it's going to lead, excuse me, I believe it is that if Goku presses the button, Goku will be summoned, or something like that. I'm not really sure what's going on. Again, I don't really know, but I think what's happened is if you press the button, I'm reading the translations here. So anyway, the translation says Omni King gives Goku a button that will summon him if pressed. Okay, so yeah, Goku will be summoned to Zenosama. Anyway, back to Zamasu. Zamasu again still thinks that Ningen are not. They just aren't worth keeping. I mean, they ruthlessly attack each other, and even doesn't matter how long it is, they'll keep making the same mistakes. I found this interesting because it's very. Toriyama is making this seem like this is like real life. Like humans over the course of history have always done this, where they do something really bad and then they repeat that same mistake much later on. They just don't learn. And Zamasu, as a being who's higher up, he thinks that of course Ningen are not capable of surviving. They just aren't worth it. So anyway, Gowasu says to Zamasu, you need a balance of both good and evil. But Zamasu thinks that, well, we should just kill all the mortals. They're too much of a pest, and they're not worth the effort. And then, for the final sequence of the episode, we get Bulma throwing a capsule onto the ground, which opens up the time machine. It's now fixed. Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks, they all head to the future, and I didn't even know that Goku and Vegeta could fit in there. So it's all three of them. They go to the future, and arrive, and then they're kind of walking around. Future Trunks sees Mai's hat where she left off in the future when she was obviously stricken down, but obviously this means she survived. And Goku is walking, and then the people of the future are kind of fooled, I guess. They don't know that it's Son Goku, and they started attacking him with like their weapons, assault weapons and stuff. They started attacking Goku, and that's where we leave off of the episode, guys. So overall, I thought this episode was fairly slower paced, but of course, next episode is going to be the big one. We're going to get, Vegeta versus Black, and Vegeta is going all out in the preview. He's using his full power, Super Saiyajin Buru in the future. He's going all out against Black, and then the big shocker, guys. We see in the preview that, holy crap, Black actually transforms, and he does transform into the Super Saiyajin Rose, or the Super Saiyan Rose. We already knew this. I already made a video on this a couple weeks ago about the details on what happened. And it is true, guys. There is a Super Saiyan Rose now, and it's going to be interesting to see how this fight is going to play out. I'm going to make a kind of a quick prediction here. I think Vegeta is not going to beat Black because he's going to have this new transformation. It looks very similar to Super Saiyajin Buru, except that it's pink. So that's the episode, guys. We should have an episode next week. So hopefully we get a new episode next week, because I don't think there's going to be any more Olympics or anything. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys later. Stay awesome and have a good one.